Okay, let's say that overhead presses give you some shoulder discomfort. Um, you push up here and you feel that on the inside of your shoulder. This is for you. One of the things that we don't think about is how we get into the overhead press. And we don't want to tell our body and our brain that overhead pressing is painful. We want to find ways that will signal to our brain that this is fine. This position, getting this arm over your head is fine. Now, if there's any sort of damage or some sort of traumatic injury, maybe we want to kind of back off on this. But with that being said, if it's just some discomfort and there's not really some things that you did to that might cause the discomfort, this is for you. So what we're going to look at is how do we push this weight overhead? And a lot of us will stay here and we'll go neutral and we'll push it overhead here. And we'll see that that causes us pain, right? And we may actually even go here and push it overhead like this. And we'll see that that causes us pain, right? And both of those things, that shoulder's in pretty good internal rotation. And if there's inflammation in there, or just some gunk in there, it may cause pain because that gunk is not free flowing. What that is kind of giving you some signals to send your pain receptors are sending your signals to your brain that's not fun. But if I take that same weight and I actually continue this motion and press overhead, you may find out that, oh, that one didn't hurt, right? Or if I bias this same side leg, right, and I press that overhead, you may find, oh, that didn't hurt, right? What? Yeah, that didn't hurt that bad. Didn't hurt at all, right? That didn't hurt. What's going on here? They're both overhead presses, but the way we get into an overhead press will directly dictate how that feels to us. So if we have some inflammation when we go into internal rotation in that area there, right, we're locking up the space to get us into shoulder flexion, right? So just do this one time with me. You're going to take your arms and you're going to have really bad posture. So get into this position, have really bad posture, right? Now, from that really bad posture, I want you to put your arm up overhead. It doesn't really want to go, does it? Because I am locked into internal rotation, and there's only a certain amount of space I have in that joint. Now, if I stand tall and I do that same thing, I've got a lot of room to go here, right? So I've got to start playing with angles, with dimensions, and with directions so I can get that arm to go overhead. It might be that moving with that dumbbell or that load allows you to get more overhead pain-free. What we need to do is dial those in, the successful versions of an overhead press, really dial those in and use those to get us eventually into that overhead press that maybe was not as successful. So I might say, oh, this version of this allows me to be fully pain-free, right? I can move this out and around, right? Pain-free. I can move my hip around, pain-free. So what if I move my hip over and try that neutral grip? Might be pain-free. So we need to progressively move into that. And then eventually what happens is you don't have that hip there. You go here, that hip is biased a little less and a little less. And then all of a sudden, you're overhead